there. Ah, my favorite customer. Got a cap for me? Have you tried going to the strip only to be stopped by those big metal murder machines? Happens every day around here. But if you know the right people, you can get through the gate without being a rich man. What do you say? Want another tip? Mention the NCR and people around here get a little on edge. There's talk that they're going to take over all of New Vegas. It doesn't help that they've got military camps all over the place, and more troops pour into the area daily. I got more where that came from. Want another? There's a guy out on the main drag who sells second-hand adventuring gear. He's got an okay selection. But where does it come from? I got more where that came from. Want another? Have you been to Mick and Ralph's yet? They run a store just down the street and sell some things you might not expect. That one was pretty good, right? How about another? While everyone knows Mr. House runs New Vegas, no one knows the first thing about him. He just sorta showed up a few years back, and everything you see around you is the result. Just who in the hell is he? I got more where that came from. Want another? I've heard the Garretts over at the Atomic Wrangler are having a hard time collecting some money owed to them. An enterprising person like yourself might be able to make some caps helping them with their little problem. That one was pretty good, right? How about another? People in Freeside generally fall into one of two categories. Those who've been here all their lives call themselves locals. When people from the NCR and other places started pouring in, the locals began referring to them as squatters, and the name stuck. The locals blame the squatters for the scarcity of resources in Freeside, and the squatters blame any act of violence against them on the locals. They're both right to some extent, and violent outbreaks between the two are all too common these days. What do you say? Want another tip? Caught a rumor the other day that some of the clientele over at the Wrangler have been making some rather strange requests. Stuff like weirdos wanting the services of ghouls and such. I almost have half a mind to volunteer myself, sexy beast that I am. What do you say? Want another tip? I heard something about a town south of here being attacked, but details are sketchy. All I know is there haven't been any refugees showing up here, which means either the attack wasn't too bad, or it was very, very bad. That one was pretty good, right? How about another? Things have generally been bad here for the squatters, the people who came here hoping for a better life and just got stuck. But lately, the mood has changed. The squatters seem to be a bit more optimistic. I wonder what happened. What do you say? Want another tip? At the northwest end of Fremont Street, you'll find the Silver Rush. It's run by a rather scary family called the Van Graffs. These are not people you want to mess with. But if lasers and such are your thing, the goods they sell are second to none. That one was pretty good, right? How about another? The Strip is run by the three families, who owe their allegiance to Mr. House. When he first showed up, he gave the local tribes the choice of working with him, or getting the hell out of his way. Given how things turned out, I know which way I'd have gone. But hindsight's 20/20, right? That one was pretty good, right? How about another? Saw a strange thing the other day. The king took that robo-dog of his over to the old Mormon fort. Weird thing was that the dog was flipping out and had to be restrained by a few of the king's men. Hope he doesn't get loose. I got more where that came from. Want another? The NCR used to run a prison to the southwest, but something happened a little while back, and now all you'll get is hard looks if you ask about it. I got more where that came from. Want another? I've heard people passing through mention some kind of underground fights, pitting creatures of the waste against one another for sport. And when I say underground, that's their word I'm using, not my own. That one was pretty good, right? How about another? The Omertas, one of Mr. House's 3 families, run a casino called Gomorrah on the Strip. If you thought the Wrangler was something, you owe it to yourself to go there. I got more where that came from. Want another? East of Freeside, there's an old Air Force base, judging by the road signs. No one knows for sure what's in there, though, on account of anyone approaching the place getting violently blown up. I got more where that came from. Want another? He might not look it, but Ralph, or Mick and Ralph's, is no slouch with a keyboard. I've heard he's helped reprogram several robots in his time. I got more where that came from. Want another? The chairmen run a casino on the Strip called The Tops. It's a pretty classy place by all reports. I haven't been there myself, but I hear security there is kinda tight. That one was pretty good, right? How about another? I understand. Well, have a good day.
Another NCR grunt.
Welcome back. Why? Do you work for one of the casinos? In that case, yes I do. Follow me. Like I always say, a polite society is an armed society.
Hey. Can't run from me.
I'm getting out of here.
You're mine.
The gunrunners ought to help the followers by donating some of the firepower they've got. The gunrunners ought to help the followers by donating some of the firepower they've got. Keep an eye out for trouble.
Howdy. I've been around a while. Currently working for the followers as a gun for hire, but it's getting rather dull. Aside from protecting them from the occasional thug looking to intercept supply shipments, there isn't much to do around here. The one researcher I liked who I could chat up about liquor got transferred, and the rest of the docs are pretty uptight about my kind of fun. I joined up looking for a decent paying job. Granted, the pay's all right, but they won't let me kick back and slog a brew at the end of the day. They're worried the filthy drunkies in detox seeing me drink will cause an immediate relapse. I say their rehab effort here is just a revolving door. I've been around long enough to observe the patterns of human behavior. Physical and mental anguish are especially exciting to explore. Hey, who doesn't enjoy a little pinch and squeal every once in a while? What do you have in mind? The only thing I know for certain is that I don't know nothing. And I may have answers. What starts in misery tends to stay there. Freeside wasn't Freeside until 6 or 7 years ago. That's when Mr. House's robots rolled out of the Lucky 38 and started pushing everyone who wouldn't join him off the strip. Lots of folks died. Some scattered to the winds. The rest wound up in Freeside and seemed never to lose the habit of living like refugees. What about them? Pretty much the sort of gang you'd find anywhere else, just with better clothes. The king himself, though? He's got that something special you can't put a finger on. Too bad he likes girls with skin. I reckon they care about getting water and electricity from the dam, and that's where it ends. The locals here are just an inconvenience to them, something to step over or stomp down. They're here for the resources, plain and simple. Before or after the human race shot itself in the foot? I've been around long enough to have both opinions, see. Before the war, Mr. House was a famous captain of industry. Robotics, to be specific. Seemed charming in interviews, until he became a recluse. Since the war, though, didn't make a peep for near 200 years. But when he came back strong and killed a lot of people. I don't know how they do it. They're like saints, those followers. If they didn't charge for their services, I'd think they was crazy. But nah, they're just naive. Warms their heart. Couple of rad scorpions, those two. Gloria is the stable one, but she'd slit your throat if there's a profit in it. Or rather, she'd tell her brother to do it for her. John Baptiste is one of the sicker humans I've had the displeasure of observing. What did you want to know? Feed a man for free, and he'll be back asking for more. Feed a man a bullet, you won't hear from him again. Yep.
That's a first recon beret. They're the best marksmen in the NCR military.
What's up?
Hey! I have no idea how most of these people would survive without us. When people have got nothing left, they can always turn to the followers.
There's so many refugees to care for.
How's it going?
What's up?
Hello.
Hi. If you're looking for medical help, try the other doctors. I'm just a researcher. Not even a particularly good one. Oh, you know, finding alternative treatments for common illnesses and injuries. Stim packs out of barrel cacti and other fantastic improbabilities. As far as fruitless wastes of time go, it's quite noble in its aims. For the past 100 years or so, the followers have managed to get by using salvaged medical supplies from the old world. But the side effect of medical success is that more people live longer. Funny how that works. Eventually, we'll run out of hospitals to loot. We need new ways to produce those supplies, or maybe old ways if this research goes anywhere. I'm enthusiastic about helping people, but nihil novi sub sole. Caesar can cite Cato to suit his purpose. Many people have spoken Latin. Some of them were quite pleasant. It's unfortunate that the language is now associated with the gentleman across the river. Not from the Legion, if that's what you're getting at. Books, sheet music, gladiator movie holotapes, bits and pieces here and there. The followers have extensive libraries, but we all draw water from the same old well. Even Caesar. I don't know anything that the others couldn't tell you. Caesar was one of the followers, before my time, of course. He wanted to rebuild the new world in the image of the old. A sad story of good intentions gone bad. In that regard, he's hardly unique. If you set aside his leadership capabilities, extensive knowledge, and ruthless cunning, he's just another jerk who steps on people to get his way. Oh, sorry. There's nothing new under the sun. If agave and mesquite were that miraculous, the locals would have figured it out a few thousand years ago. Certainly. Not all followers are people persons. Besides, someone needs to do research. I have no problem with Julie sticking me back here. Out of sight, out of mind. There are worse things one can be, though I do admit it is a bit boring. Though it has a noble goal, I don't think this research will yield much fruit. No pun intended. No offense intended, but why should I go anywhere with you? That seems appropriately resolute and yet vague. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and go with you, but let me be clear about something. If you plan to help Caesar's Legion, this is going to be a brief relationship. I may not have all the answers for how to fix Freeside's problems, but Caesar taking control isn't part of the solution. Fair? As the old saying goes, two's company, but three's a small army. Okay, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but you get the idea.
Oh.
Fine by me. What is it? If that's what you think. Alright. Guess I'll be around Novak for a while longer until I figure out what I want to do with myself. See you around.
What's up? It could be better. If we can find a way to work toward the independence of New Vegas, that would be ideal. But really, as long as you don't help out the Legion, anything's better than that. I'm really very boring. You'd get better stories out of a Freeside junkie. Oh, all right. I'm 30-ish. Well, late 30s. I was born west of here. I was an only child and spent most of my time with my mother. My father died when I was young and I never got over it. Oh, and I like medicine and reading books about failed pre-war socioeconomic policies. Right now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, why hasn't some lucky man scooped this bachelor off his feet? Like I said, I'm boring. Some people do. I just don't. Look, I appreciate that you're trying to be friendly, but I'd just rather not discuss it. All right, let's not waste any time. There are people out there to help, things to learn. Maybe not in that order, but let's get to it. Sure, just don't treat me like a pack Brahmin, okay? What's up? I'll defer to your judgment, naturally. Just tell me where you want me. Okay. I'll defer to your judgment, naturally. I'll do my best. I'm hardly a whirlwind of death when left to my own devices, but all right. See you around. Sure, just don't treat me like a pack Brahmin, okay?
Hello, potential customer. Welcome, sir or madam. Do you wish to purchase something? I am ready to process our transaction. Come back and see us again soon.
Sure, just don't treat me like a pack Brahmin, okay?
Hello. I've still got guns and ammo if you need them. Sure, no problem. Sure, just don't treat me like a pack Brahmin, okay? Sure, just don't treat me like a pack Brahmin, okay?